he's lost his share, but in fairness to him, he's always been in at the top level, and he had trouble making the then light heavyweight limit of 12.7. So the 13.8 cruiserweights, this is one of the reasons why this fella made his comeback. So we can look at what we're talking about there, Jim, a clash of heads. You see, they dive in, and then there it is there. You see, he comes up with it, Panarski, and really rubs it in, and that was when the referee had a word with them.
Seconds out, round 3.
So, stop boxing before they started, the referee said there. And I think he wants them to clean this up a bit. He's a bit worried about the old heads banging in, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, it was developing into a fucking rough fight, but I mean, it's not really easy. Panarski's a good, solid pro, but he's not. You couldn't really call him a culture professional, and I hope he doesn't try too much to clean up his act, because I don't think he'll be very effective. He has to get his chin into his chest and get in close to be effective at all. He doesn't really want to stand off jabbing as he's doing now.
We were talking about Panarski really having been out so long, but playing football, etc., to get fit, and he also works for the Rambo Keep Fit Club in his town. Accurate puncher, Roy Smith, but at champion level you wouldn't call him that destructive, because he's only actually stopped 4 of 14 wins.
See, Smith is now standing off that couple of inches that are making all the difference. He's just not getting as close to Panarski as he was in the first couple of rounds, and now he's landing some good punches. This is what he needed to do, a little bit more punching room, just stand off 3 or 4 inches.
He works his way into a contest, Jim, doesn't he? Sort of a throwback to the old pros, that is. He never does the flying start, Smith, does he?
I think he was just a little bit eager to please tonight. I think he felt he was British champion, that the fans had come along to see a champion at work, and he was just a little bit eager to please in the first couple of rounds. But this is more like what we expect from him. Good controlled boxing, looking for the openings and finding them now.
Minute to go in the third. Scheduled for 8 then. Sort yourselves out, I tell you, there's a lot of us could do with that advice. Yeah, as you say, Jim, he's not flying in so much now, Smith. He's a little bit worried about being caught with the head, and although it's not total long range, it's just nice punching distance, isn't it?
Right, stand back.
So there you are then, there's the details for the champion Roy Smith. And as I said, he's a part-timer, he calls himself as a boxer. He's also got a couple of children. Probably his next challenger will be TJ, whom he defeated as an amateur. Jim, let's have a look at this replay.
Well, Smith's work was a little bit better in that round. He was standing off a little bit, giving himself some punching room. A little bit involved here, which didn't happen too often in the round. But his work was far clearer in that round.
Seconds out, round 4.
Into the 4th round then of the scheduled 8. The first hometown appearance as champion now with the blue-shorted Roy Smith in a non-title fight, and old veteran Alec Panarski is giving him all the trouble he can handle, really. Smith on top, all right, cleaner punching, better boxing. But Panarski trying to rough it up a little bit, because it's quite rightly the only chance he's got. He had to actually renew his boxing license last week. He allowed that to run out with a layoff. And that was due entirely to not really having to make the 12 stone 7 limit. He nearly had to get half a stone off in his last contest against Keith Bristol. He's a pretty rough customer to mix it with, though, Jim Panarski. He hits a bit hard.
Yeah, he's a good, solid professional. He knows how to keep his chin out of harm's way, and he brings up some nice, surprising hooks. But as long as Smith keeps his concentration, as he's doing now, that was a nice little bit of defensive work from Smith. But you can never be caught napping with Panarski, because he's a dangerous fellow.
Surprisingly enough, if statistics can always prove everything, as we know. But he's only actually knocked out one of all those fights he's had. But he's a solid puncher. I think you know you've been in with him.
See, you can see Smith feinting, looking for the opening there. It didn't come, and he didn't take any silly chances. But this is good work now from Smith. So you can see him looking for the place to put the punches. He's not throwing unless he's sure it's going to land.
There's always a certain amount of lift, Jim, winning the championship, obviously. I mean, you must have gone through that when you won your first title.
Yeah, well, I think it troubled Smith in the first couple of rounds tonight, because he was trying too much to impress. But now he's settled down, he's got his confidence. But you can actually see him looking for the openings now.
Half a minute to go in the fourth. And much sharper boxing now from Roy Smith, as really was to be expected. But it's a brave-hearted show by Alec Panarski. There he is. He hasn't been... Oh, a bit of a football scrum there by the look of it. There it is then, the details for Panarski. As I said, he's at 33. Once you get over the divide of 30 in the fight game, you consider it a bit of a veteran. His father apparently was a boxer, and he also served in the infantry here. So now you see Smith, there it is, he feints and then he pulls away as he sees Panarski really chase him across the ring, but very good defensive boxing there, wouldn't allow him to get caught, and finish up in a bit of a tag match.
Second time, round 5.
Fifth round. And Roy Smith, the British cruiserweight champion, undeniably ahead on points. But Panarski now has given it all he's got. You can't ask for more than that. He's got more losses than wins on his record, but he's always in there trying. And considering he's been out since October '85, it's a good performance. And I suppose he's looking back and thinking, well, if Tom Collins can come back and win the light heavyweight championship, he has a win over Collins in '84, Panarski. So he's telling both boxers not to make it untied then. I don't think they're just holding on a little bit more than they should, particularly Panarski. fact, in a long career now, Panarski's actually only been disqualified once, and that was against Danny Lawford back in '80, and that was the last time that he fought here in Nottingham. So there's a prospect of a double that he could do without, but I shouldn't think that will happen now. All he can do now is chase and hope, Jim, and certainly Smith won't let him stand in the corner as a sitting target.
Yeah, well, one thing I noticed about Panarski, he's not really giving Smith too many chances to catch him cleanly on the chin. He's very good at just dropping his head as Smith comes in, keeping his head out of trouble. Smith's finding it difficult to get the clean punches home. He's certainly winning the fight all right. But see there again, 2 punches, none of them landed cleanly. Panarski's very experienced, and he's doing a good job of surviving.
Not the sort of opponent for Smith to make his fancy work look good, really. But he got tagged, and I think hurt a little bit with that one, Jim, the way he hung on.
That was the best right hand Smith has landed. That was a good punch. There are signs that Panarski's beginning to blow a little bit. Maybe the pace is getting to him now, so you can expect Smith maybe to get through a bit more cleanly now.
So there he is, got the towel glove there, manager Wally Swift, just putting the words of wisdom into his boxer. He keeps the words fairly short in the corner, and that's exactly what good seconds are all about, because you can't put too many words into them. Jim, let's have a look at this replay. The big right coming up from Smith.
That wasn't quite as clean as I first thought. Maybe the punch landed on the shoulder there. On replay, actually, the punch wasn't as good as I first thought.
Round 6. Scheduled for 8 then. This cruiserweight non-title fight, of course. Now 12 rounds championships in Britain. And just to remind you, Roy Smith did that against Andy Strawn at Alfreton last month to win this new weight introduction now at 13 stone 8 pounds. So referee Thomason saying, when I say break, don't throw a punch. It's called hitting on the break, which was permitted in British boxing. We were actually the last to change that clean break rule. We're always talking about the rules have stood the test of time in British boxing, but there's times when they should alter them a little quicker than they do. Oh, that was a good stand and trade bit there, Jim.
See, that's again, Panarski let a couple of punches go, then got his chin out of trouble, then let another couple of punches go. He really is an experienced seasonal pro.
Actually been a pro since 1973. Oh, he was hurt a little bit with that, Smith. It's a bit awkward the way he rushed in there and got caught a little low. Ropes appear a little bit slack, really. I'll just have to duck when they start coming through the ropes over us here. All right for Jim, he's used to slipping. I'm getting a bit older these days with the fancy footwork. Very untidy round this, Jim.
Yeah, it is a little bit untidy, but I'm giving him full credit to Panarski because he's in with the British champion. He hasn't been able to match him for ability or speed or anything, but never at any time has he made it an easy night's work for him. And Smith's finding it very difficult to get clean punches home. Panarski always just seems to move his head that little half inch just at the last second, and he's always keeping his chin out of harm's way. Okay, he's not winning anything, but he's certainly making it difficult for Smith.
Well, difficult enough with these attempted wrestling throws now. Mo Hussein then from London, watching the show of course here, a big fan. He's now the Commonwealth lightweight champion and he's challenging Lloyd Christie of Wolverhampton for the British Light Welterweight Championship, and that'll be at the Albert Hall next month.
Second down, round 7.
Seventh round, and the polished boxing from the new cruiserweight champion Smith now has been smothered a few times by the Rambo-like tactic, if you like, of Alec Panarski, and Paul Thomas again reminding him not to get too rough with the head, thank you. It's more rushing in than butting, Jim, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's just getting his head down. He has to get inside, and if he comes in with his chin hanging up high, he's a bit obviously too experienced to do that. And when Smith meets him, it's becoming a bit untidy. But you have to sympathise. If Panarski listens to the referee and tries to tidy it up, he's going to take more punches himself.
It's a big-hearted show from Panarski, let's face it. He must have been well odds against when he came in, particularly as a substitute, Jim, and been out the ring for a while, but he's giving it a real go.
Gabriel has given us a show. I'm a little bit disappointed as the fight's gone on with Smith, because I thought Smith's performance would have improved as he went along, but he's still getting involved at close quarters. He hasn't used it. He has an excellent jab. He's not been able to use it, and not quite the sharp performance we were hoping. Around about the third and fourth round, he looked as though he was getting his act together, but he's never managed to subdue Panarski at any time.
Well, if we're talking about Roy Smith's next challenger probably being the Londoner now, TJ, called under the name of Akai J in the Olympic Games, and in fact ran into the great Evander Holyfield, which was bad luck for him, but he certainly had a very good fight with Andy Strawn. It was